talking about Memorial and West segues nice into our next segment here, Dennis, as we talk some high school gymnastics. A week ago, we talked looking ahead to the Mt Horeb Invitational, and something unique happened at the Invite. Two teams tied for first place, Madison West, Madison Memorial, and as luck would have it, they'll compete again tomorrow night in a dual meet over at Memorial. And joining us now to talk about how the two teams were able to finish in a tie for first at Mt Horeb, we welcome to the Prep Report the head coach of the Memorial Spartans, Michelle Fuller. Michelle, welcome to the show.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Well, how exciting was that to come away from a long day of competition down at Mt Horeb the other day in a tie for first with a pretty solid total, 132.95. That must have been exciting.
It was very exciting, and we were kind of watching the scores as we were sitting that last round. We were pretty sure we had Middleton beat. They had posted. We knew we had Watertown beat, and we didn't really check Madison West. And then all of a sudden, we're waiting for the results to come in, and we're waiting to hear who's in second. And then they announced that there was a tie.
Wow, that's pretty difficult to happen, isn't it, for gymnastics?
Yeah, they actually judged to the thousandths of a point. So across the four events, I don't know how we did it, but we tied exactly.
Well, that's
you couldn't have planned it any better.
Right.
What does that say, though, Michelle, that the two of you were able to finish where you did at that Invite? Usually pretty good competition there, and that must be a great boost to the girls.
It was fantastic. That's the first time we've won a big Invite like that. We've started off our season 2-0, and so it's nice to get that plaque, and we're looking forward to kind of competing for the actual champion against West this Thursday.
Yeah, you turn right around. What are the differences in terms of what how the competition will go tomorrow in a dual meet setting versus at an Invite, and is it that close in a dual meet format as well?
It can be. It really just depends on the day. The big difference is at an Invite, there is a lot more sitting around for the girls, so they have a lot of time in between their events, and that unfortunately gives them a chance for their bodies to get cold, and then we have to re-warm up and get ready to go on our next event. And at a dual meet, it's a pretty quick hour and 45 minutes, and so they're moving the whole time and don't really have a chance to think about things. Beam was our last event at the Invite, so a lot of time was spent just thinking about how much they wanted to stay on that 4-inch piece of equipment.
Yeah, I was going to ask from a mental standpoint. Now we've got a Winter Olympics coming up, but I know always when the Summer Olympics comes and everybody focuses on that, and how much pressure there is on the kids, to compete. When you have to sit around, what do you do? How do you keep them occupied? Not just loose, but keep their minds from wandering to boyfriends and school and everything else.
Well, they're high school girls, so it's tricky. But we do things like we have coloring books that we take along with us, so there were actually a lot of very nice pictures colored in.
Awesome.
They were making friendship bracelets, so just actually kind of arts and crafts type things back in our team area for them to just kind of do and focus on, to not really think about what was going on out on the floor.
Do you have like a team leader for homework if somebody's struggling? That's kind of, hey, we got a big test coming up next week, and maybe somebody's trying to do some studying on the side there?
You'd think that with finals coming up next week, but I don't think I saw any homework going on.
That must mean they're all great students, right?
Well, they are, yep.
Well, and they're also great gymnasts, and a year ago, Michelle was very competitive in the area as far as high school gymnastics, and I know that Middleton and Verona Edgewood grabbed the two sectional or the two state berths out of your sectional, but you and West weren't far behind. How does that scenario look this year, and what things have to happen maybe for you and or West to leapfrog those two other schools?
So Middleton is a little down right now, but they're still good, but they're missing their two top girls. So kind of how I've been explaining it to when students in school ask, like, oh, you beat Middleton. I'm like, well, it's kind of like Wisconsin beating Florida in basketball. It's, there's a little star there because the top two players weren't there. So Erin Skibba's out with her back injury, and then one of their other gymnasts is suffering from a concussion. So they're missing two of their top girls. So, but we were also missing Caroline. So I think it's going to be close on that. I know Verona has had a really rough start to the year. One of the gymnasts told me that they lost 3 of their varsity all-around girls just to graduation, and then I know that Lexi Alt has been struggling with injuries as well. So we really just need to beat one of those two teams to be able to get that state berth that we're looking for the first time in 9 years. So I'm really, we're all hoping it's our goal this year. Our team saying is chase it, so we're just chasing the dream.
Well, and Caroline would be Caroline Smith. She's been our state journal area gymnast of the year last couple of years. The balance beam state champion, among other things, at the state meet last year. What's her status, and do you figure to get her back anytime soon?
Yep. So she's just suffering with some back pain. Fortunately, not as serious as Erin's from Middleton. So we actually will have her most likely for beam and bars tomorrow. And we're just trying to slowly add in the events, but we are hoping to have her competing all four again by the Spartan Invite on February 1st.
Well, it's a tough sport, isn't it, Michelle? I mean, it looks so graceful when they're up there performing, but it does take a toll on the body.
It does, yes.
Well, I tell you what, Michelle, we appreciate your time here tonight in the Prep Report. A lot of fun. We'll be watching both these teams here as you guys move forward, and especially tomorrow night in that dual meet. I believe, 6 o'clock it gets underway?
6 o'clock here at Memorial.
Outstanding.
Excellent.
Enjoy that, Michelle, and appreciate the time.
All right, thanks, you guys.
Michelle Fuller of the Madison Memorial Gymnastics team.
Boy, is she on top of it, right, with the Badgers there, and then what's going on with the other teams in the area, and the injuries, and it's a coach doing her homework.
It's not only doing the homework, but you do, as a fellow coach, feel bad for those kids that are out because, that window of time to compete at the high school level is so short. Dennis, we come back, we'll talk to our Prep Profile feature. It's Courtney Cole of DeForest. We'll talk to her next on the Prep Report on the Big 1070.
And Big1070.com.